Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, our card tonight is the Wheel of Fortune. So some choices being made. Something important. Something maybe fundamental to your life. But we're going to look and see. So if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. So I want to start right here. I'm seeing that we have a person here who is kind of beneath the moon. Okay, maybe wearing some kind of mask or costuming, some kind of ceremonial thing. We also have a person over here. You can see a large, almost kind of monstrous, like a giant or something, holding a goat. Okay, now below we have, it looks like a person with their arms raised, kind of, lifting their hand in maybe devotion, maybe reaching out to grab this goat. I immediately get this impression of feeling like there have to be some difficult choices made. Things that are not only uncomfortable, they're quite inconvenient. It's shifting your life in such a way that there are a lot of unknowns, right? And I feel like this is something that maybe has been building up, but it feels almost like it came out of nowhere. But I think the signs have been there. So I feel that, well, to some degree, it's kind of like you've been putting your head in the sand, right? In the dirt. And that's kind of what we know. Is it the ostrich? The ostrich hides its head if it's in danger. And so I feel that, this is something where it's like, I know this is going to happen. I know it's coming. I know that it's maybe getting more and more potent, or kind of like something that's more and more serious. But I don't want to look at this. I don't want to be seen by this energy. I don't want it to attach itself to me, right? But here's the thing, is that you've kind of had the warnings and chosen to not engage it, or at least not begin to make a plan. Maybe, I immediately think of things like health issues, or people in your life who you are close to and you start to see they're having some troubles. You're hoping that it will fix itself. Maybe it's just like a moment, a phase, a whatever. And you just kind of wait and see. You go about your life. And next thing you know, this thing is pretty out of hand. So I feel like, not all is lost, right? It's not too far gone. But this is a time where action must be had. So if that means going to the doctor, going through some diagnostic things. You know, if this is about another person, coming to the realization, yes, something has changed about them. You know, for me, I'm in recovery. I see people relapsing all the time, you know, through 12-step. And that's part of addiction. You know, that's not particular to any kind of recovery system. But so often it's kind of this thing where it's like, yeah, you kind of see this person devolving in their behavior, their actions and things. And, you know, a lot of times you just want to believe they're going to get it together. Well, often people don't. It just gets worse and worse and worse. So, you know, I don't know that these are either these examples fit, but I do feel like it's this thing where it's like, yeah, I mean, it could even be like a thing at the house, right? Something you've noticed, it's starting to deteriorate, get worse, something's cracked. Next thing you know, it's been, you know, 6 months or so, and now it's becoming a real problem. It has to be fixed. Something has to be done here. So yes, I do. I think that there is this kind of sacrifice of energies and time, and it's one of these things in life that happen. You know, the universe is really good at providing us for what we need. And a lot of times that feels like a blessing. There are other times where the ordeals begin to happen and it feels like a curse. It feels like, why am I being singled out? Dear universe, why are you doing this to me? You know? But here's the thing is that I think that, you know, we have this as Virgos, this very kind of primitive, primal, earthen, intuitive nature. If we follow our instincts, if we follow our intuitions, we can almost always figure out how to at least kind of mitigate whatever is happening. We're really good at problem solving. We're really good at making plans. It's about the follow through. It's the follow through that we have to focus on too, right? So, you know, be not afraid because you have all the tools you need to navigate this thing. Will it be easy? No. Will it be emotional? Probably yes. Will it be exhausting at points? Yeah, definitely. But it's not something that you can avoid. I mean, you could, I guess. You know, you could pack your things and move away and never talk to anybody again. Yeah, that's the way you could go. But I think that this is something that, yeah, it's important to you. This is something that you care about. And as a Virgo, right, and I keep saying us, I'm a solar Virgo. As a Virgo, it is very painful for us to abandon something. Even if it's like a project, right? Last night for me, it was mopping the floors, cleaning the floors. It just, you know, we had a long day. A long day. And I came home and I had a few moments, so I started cleaning the floors. And it takes me a few hours to do all the floors in the house. And it wasn't the perfect timing because bedtime was coming and so on. So I was hurrying, but you know, this feeling of having to set down the mop to go do something else for a while, like making sure that we're all cleaned up for bed instead of letting everybody wait, just a few more minutes so I can finish. It's difficult to put down what you're doing to go do this other thing, and then you got to come back and it's all this extra. I just like to get things done, and I think a lot of that has to do with this Virgo nature. My sister, who is also a Virgo, I'm an August Virgo, she's a September Virgo, very much the same. We both have ADHD too. So, as a way to cope with some of the ways that our brains work, just getting things done instead of getting lost in other things. It's hard to come back to it, make sure that it gets all the way done. So, I feel like in this situation, it is a lot of investment of time and energy, but it's kind of like you have to do something, right? And what's going on. It's likely to do with family. I feel like this is something that has a family energy to it. But you will show up for them. Because we Virgos do. We show up for our people. Okay, let's see. We have a face right here. We have the eye here. Kind of the nose right here. The mouth. Now, where's the other eye? There was another eye down here. Oh, yes, down here. We have another eye. So over here, it looks like it says S-A-T, SAT. I must get this idea of sitting and watching. Now we have a goddess here, and you can see it's a fertility goddess. We have the mammaries. We also have mammaries over here. So there's a focus on this kind of fertility middle goddess. The maiden becomes the mother. And almost a sense of just watching. What am I watching? I feel like there's, it's almost kind of seeing what other people are doing, figuring it out through how you perceive others. Sometimes even kind of being misguided in your own perceptions, because looking at the way somebody lives, and usually this is in a public space, right? Looking at the way somebody lives and the way that they present themselves. And it's intentional, right? It's intentional the way they're presenting their life. And it feels like looking at that, and there's almost a kind of sense of not only envy, but trying to figure out like a way to emulate. And it's not that Virgo, we're not followers. We are not people that clone ourselves after others, but we're really good gatherers of information and really good at building our own kind of composite worlds. The problem therein lies sometimes that we can be fooled by somebody's illusion. And not fooled in a way that's super, fundamental to our core. We're not naive, but wanting to believe like, yeah, it's possible to live a life that is so very curated, so smoothly run, right? And I'm thinking about like coming into this motherhood. or returning to the sphere of child development and raising and all of this, because maybe you're having a grandchild, or taking care of children. And it's easy to fall into these kind of traps of watching unrealistic kind of family mommy content, right? I myself kind of did this as well. You know, now these people who are creating content, there's a lot of them. Amazingly talented content creators, amazingly designed spaces and, you know, narratives and so on. Basically, I mean, just I'm not lost to the fact that they are very talented at what they're doing. Now, is it realistic in real life? Usually not. But this is where, we do start to feel like kind of crummy parents, crummy grandparents. Also, just generally, like, why can't I keep my house that clean? You know what I mean? I don't know if it's still popular, but when I was having my daughter a few years ago, that whole movement of like off-white, different shades of off-white and tan and whatever, really big, right? How do you keep that house clean? With kids, animals. A lot of them have animals too. How? Please tell me how. And it's not, I clean a lot and my house still gets just absolutely, disaster. I don't know how, but it's unrealistic standards. So I feel like there's a sense of, wanting for something a little different, trying to find that inspiration, but really needing to be conscious that the things that you see out there, even people in life, right? I try not to read people in my daily life. Like my daughter, I take her to all these, her activities and things. Well, I do. I get dressed. I shower usually. I do. I usually shower a few times a day, actually, twice at least. And I'll put on some makeup and, I wear dresses a lot because I don't like baggy clothes, or I don't like tight clothes very much. And so I look, halfway put together, but I'm still, I would say I'm somewhat frumpy on my day-to-day basis. I'm not like putting it on full volume, you know what I mean? But I'll go to these, activities and things, and there are parents that seem like they absolutely have it all together. They're so good at time management. Their kids are well behaved. Everybody's dressed well. All of this. And it's like, they probably have, maybe they have help. Like we don't have family to help us. We just don't. We don't have babysitters or anything like this. Which is, either way of living is fine. There's no wrong way. But to compare ourselves to other families and their dynamics and, they look so nice and they have so much money and their kids are just like always listening and involved and polite and, whatever. There's so much more that goes into it than what we see, right? And it's easy to look at these things and think, what am I doing wrong? But this is it. It's a reminder. Don't fall into these traps, Virgo, because they do get us. Absolutely, they do get us. We are builders, and we very much are perceptive of our environments, and we're always taking in the information. And yeah, of course we catch feelings sometimes when we see something, we see a situation, and we think, oh yes, I would love to do that. How do I do that? And you strive to kind of live in that way, or, you know, to even measure up in some little, you know, whatever form or ability to reach these like lofty goals. And sometimes, yeah, we fall short, or we just don't know how to do it. It doesn't make sense because we're not seeing the whole thing. And that's what it comes down to. We're not seeing the whole picture. We must remind ourselves of that. These are the illusions that are soul killers. They absolutely are. The only work that we should be doing in regards to how we're living is how to return back to our authentic self. What feels natural to you? If that means looking a mess and just kind of, you know, grinding it out most of the time and living simplistically, yeah, that's okay. If you are highly, you know, curated and have an aesthetic and everything is just so, that's okay too. That's perfect. Whatever. It's all different for each of us. And not only that, as our life changes, as it evolves in different ways, it will be different, what we can and can't do. And coming to these realizations is so important. And I'm seeing we have a horse here, we have a horse here. We also have what I was thinking of as a sphinx, this kind of silent thing, a gatekeeper. And I think so often it's like we try to force our way through something. Just push through. It's not always about that. Sometimes it's like we just have to stop and contemplate and think about, where are we going to release those horses, those wild horses? That's what we are, Virgos. We are wild at heart. We're low to the ground. We live in the earth. We build. We build things that are, you know, like these ancient monuments, these beautiful sites that are overtaken by the jungles, but they're still there, right? They last for thousands and thousands of years. We are creators in that way. We create lasting things, but we're also wild at heart. Running through those open fields. Feet in the mud. Head in the clouds. That fire in our heart. Yeah, we are. We're full of that water. Those enlivening, emotional, creative waters. Don't get it mixed up. Don't get it mixed up. It's easy to get lost in the illusion of it all, right? It is. I do it myself. You know, I'm constantly battling these you know, I don't know what it is. And that feeling like, I guess for me, I vacillate between living the way that I know that I want to, that feels right to me, and then worrying. And this is a newer thing for me because I've only had a child for a few years, and I had never considered having a child before I got pregnant with her. But I worry about having such an unconventional life for my daughter. Even though it's like, I think the best parent I could be is just to be myself, right? But I vacillate between, should we maybe do, some of the more conventional things? Should we maybe tone it down a little bit? I don't know. It's easier just to be myself and allow her to be herself. And that's the thing, they surprise you, these kids. Their personalities emerge and you think, wow, is this my child? And then in a lot of ways, yeah, they very much seem like my child. So, it's hard. It's hard not to overthink it and not to feel, this pull this way, that way. It's hard, but at the end of the day, we have to be able to, put our heads down on the pillow and think, yeah, I lived my honesty and my truth today. It doesn't have to be for anybody else, for you. Just for you. And that's what it comes down to. All right, so we have a check. We also have a 12. We have the number... We have 3 sevens, 4 sevens. 4 sevens. We have the E over here. It looks like E7. And 28. E7 and 28. So we have 12, 7,777, or 4 sevens. Yes, we have the E and we have 28. We also have a flag. We have a fish. So this is, I feel it is it is kind of a shifting of currents in your life, right? And I feel like it's almost kind of, there's almost a terror, an underlying, very low buzzing terror, right? But I think this is it. I'm going with the elemental streams in my life. I am following my heart here. Now I got to get my overthinking mind in line. And everything will be just right. It'll be so good. And I think that's what this reading really comes down to. It's trusting yourself in these decisions that you have to make. Quieting the outside input. When I get into these places, this is when I start to take kind of a break from social media. I'll do 1 season on social media, 1 season off. Or I'll go half a year off and like a month or 2 on, and then I take a break again. Because I like to stay in contact with people, but I also know I'm like very influenced by the energies of the world and the things that I'm seeing, the things that I'm feeling. And so when I have I know life is shifting for me. This is all changing. Not in a little way, a big way. I need the quieting so that I am able to hear myself. And so maybe something to think about. All right, we're going to do the divine doors, and I'm going to go ahead and flip through and stop where it feels right. Okay, beautiful. I always love seeing that. Oh gosh, what is the word? I was going to say sapphire. It's not sapphire. Saffron. The saffron color. Now we have the divine guardian. Do not be nervous today or tonight. The path you are on will lead you just right. And there we go. There you go. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. The guardian, the universe, the beloved will always lead you. Just need to listen. All right, Virgo, I'm going to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. All right, Virgo. We'll talk in a few days. Take care of yourself. Good night.